Alright, let's talk about some bad books. Now, I mentioned this in the best of video, and it still holds true now. This year was a mid-off. Everybody was trying to be the most average book that ever booked. So many reviews this year that I wrote were basically, this existed. This was a thing that I read that were words on a page or words in my ears in an audiobook, but that was about all that they had going for it. So it's not a long list of bad, and none of them are particularly egregious, but I'm going to go over them nonetheless. I do not have physical copies of these books anymore because I don't waste time with losers. The worst books that I read this year. In no particular order, The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Call. Now, Cassandra Call did redeem themselves because I read Nothing But Blackened Teeth in May. And Nothing But Blackened Teeth did better at what The Salt Grows Heavy was doing, but neither one of them were perfect in this, and that is that Cassandra Call likes to use the entire vocabulary that they have. They have a thesaurus that is a foot thick sitting next to them when they write books, and they are using the most out there word they possibly can to describe the most mundane things. There is a phrase that has stayed with me from The Salt Goes Heavy that I ranted about on Snapchat to my best friend Gina, where a character says he enucleated himself. Do you know what enucleated means? It means to leave. Just say that. Just say leave. Every single sentence in this book was giving his bright, beautiful, brilliant orbs. I don't need it. And now listen, I enjoy some purple prose, and I enjoy having the exact right word for a given tone that you want. But when it becomes every single word, you can't read it. There's no story anymore. I still don't know what happens in that book because I spent every few seconds trying to figure out what the fuck just got said to me. Maybe an audiobook wasn't the way to go, but I don't think it would have been much better physically. I cannot recommend The Salt Grows Heavy. It has a fun concept, but the description of the book was clearly written by someone else than the author of the book because you can understand the description. The next book on this list is, it's sort of catching a stray. It's Let There Be Light, which is a graphic novel that asks the question, what if God was a woman and also everything was kind of silly? It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just a little bit mid and forgettable. I have gotten rid of it since. I believe I put it in a book library thing. I don't think I took it to my classroom. It was a very childish view of the Old Testament, but God is a woman, and it glossed over some things it probably should have tackled given the existence of a female God, and yet it didn't. So, again, nothing notable. It was passable, and it was a very quick read. Thank you for your service. Let there be light. The next book is another book, and it was Dead Girls Walking, and I'm very sad that Dead Girls Walking wasn't better. Was the dialogue good? Yes. I did enjoy the characters-ish, but not enough to give a shit when they were killed in the book. I have put this book in my classroom library. There's probably a teenager with poor taste that will like it better than I did. Otherwise, I had no interest in this very bland main character and anything she did, and it was not a slasher, and I am getting so mad at slashers that aren't slashers. It was a paranormal horror. Moving on. The most recent addition to this list is, unfortunately, Your Blood, My Bones. Again, a book that did a thing. However, when I finished it, and I was let down because it ended the way it did. If you've read it, you know it ended the way it did. I went to the place I always go, Goodreads, to look at reviews of this book. And I was vindicated that other people were also like, what was the plot of this book? What was the point? And I believe truly the point of this book was to create a cameo for two characters that existed in another book I have hated by this author The Whispering Dark. That's right, this is a backhanded and surprise continuation of The World from The Whispering Dark. So if you don't like The Whispering Dark, a book that is so forgettable I had to look it up again to remember what I read, don't read this book. There were parts that were good. I genuinely wanted the couple to be together. I should have known better. I should have known better. That one is on me. But it is on you, Kelly Andrews, for not creating a plot that made any damn sense. Nothing made sense. There were plot holes on plot holes, and everybody existed just to be moody and temperamental with each other. And not in the realistic way that teenagers are, but in the unrealistic way that soap opera stars are. And it got tiring to hear the same shit every 2 pages, and nobody kissed anybody, and nobody actually came up with things to do, and there was a third act that came from fuck all. I don't know why it happened the way it did. Don't read this book. The last one on this list, I made the mistake of reading at the beach. I would like my time back from having read How to Survive Your Murder. What the Jesus Christ was that? Concept was great. Concept of girl relives day where her sister was murdered. Fine. I'm okay with that sort of Groundhog Day shenanigan. What I'm not okay with is how stupid everybody was for the whole book, and how disrespectful you were to my time for that stupid as shit ending. I'm sure people like it, but it doesn't work on the page, and it just serves to piss me off when I spent all that time reading it. Listen to me. That book had potential. The dialogue was witty. The characters were fun. But you know what wasn't fun? Thinking one ending was happening and getting another, and you can tell the author patted herself on the back for a plot twist. That's not a plot twist. You're just being a jerk. Thank you. Now, all this is to say, those books exist in worlds where people like them, and I am not judging you if you, well, I'm actually going to judge you a little bit if you like that last one, but not judging you that much. People have different tastes. Those books were not to my taste. It's like I asked for cookies and cream ice cream, and someone gave me chocolate. Chocolate ice cream has, like, the cookie flavor, but it tastes like powdered sugar and regret. So, if you like these books, I'm sorry. I hope it didn't hurt your feelings. But also, maybe we get a little bit of perspective onto why we like those books, instead of just liking them because they were not good. They were not good. Again, this is all subjective. It's all me. You do not have to like and dislike the same things as me. However, those are bad. Those are bad. Could this list have been longer? Yes. There were some other books I read that I was like, not great. But at the end of the day, when it was a mid-off of a year, 110 books, a win is a win. A win is a win every time we don't waste time with 1- and 2-star books. Thank you. This has been the disappointing books for the year 2024. If you are still here after the thanks for watching screen, I will have you know one book almost got added, and it is the book They by the author I Don't Care. This was for the Tiny Terrors readathon that Allie, the hardback hoarder, does, and I DNF'd this book 2 chapters in after her dog got mauled by an alien. And looking up reviews, I'm glad I did. Because apparently a character named Samantha meets a very, very bad end, and I was not mentally ready to read what happened to that character, so maybe the animal violence was a good thing to save me from further torture. Literally. That's it. That's the bonus here. It was so bad I DNF'd it. I have only DNF'd one book in the last, 5 years, and it was that one. So, anyway, now is the actual end of the video.